that producer, at one end, there was a call where the producer said, you have given the worst performance in your career. This is early on. And in the next 10 minutes, the director calls up and he says, you have given the best performance of your career. So I didn't know which way to go or who to believe.
I was asked, do you love me? And I said, no, of course not.
And you
Then, then I had like nothing to do for like 2 months.
Someone asked you, do you love me?
Yeah, and then I had nothing
Sounds
to do.
very
Listen to me,
Raghu Khanna.
first of all, you're contradicting yourself. 2 interviews ago, you said no one hits on you.
I was dropped from a film immediately after I got married, and from a very dear friend. I know them really well, very big names. I was dropped, and it wasn't like that you're dropped, but it was like, oh, but you need like these random dates in this whole year, and you know where it's coming from.
I wasn't probably enjoying it and I was playing up to what they want. It was working wonders, and then when I started doing and started giving them something of substance, they were like, no, we want to see that. And I still get people coming up to me and say that, you know, ab Jannat jaisi film kyun nahi karte ho? Ya Awarapan jaisi film nahi karte ho? Ya Raj jaisi film nahi kyun nahi karte ho? Times have changed.
One of the instances were my male co-actor and I, we were discussing a scene, and we were obviously adding our inputs, and I said the same thing that he did. Like 2 minutes ago, but I was made to feel unheard, and he literally said the same thing. And
Hello everyone, I'm Rajani and welcome to Zoom Speak Easy. I'm sure you're obsessed with films like I am, and if you are, you will always want to know what happens behind the scenes. I am with the cast of Showtime, who promised to tell us that and so much more. Behind the scenes stories, first of all, welcome. It's
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you.
The enthusiasm is great.
Oh, is it? Thank you.
And so I've heard the stories, and I'm sure you have your own as well. Starting with Rajeev, whom I've known for a really long time. I remember you're among the few who were always told that don't do a certain thing because you at that time were like ruling TV. And they came and said, you want to leave that and go into a place where you will not get respect or accepted because that's only for film stars. You then did a movie like Shaitan. You never followed the norm, which is why I think when you were playing Arman, for me, it made sense because, you know, you've always had that dark energy which you always kind of showed so beautifully. I think he has that, like for actors. But I feel like you've been fearless that way.
Okay, firstly, I'll tell you that I never broke any myth. I never intended to break any myth. I wasn't looking at others.
But it's a good thing.
No, but I wasn't looking at others, nor was I
Correct.
looking at films ki ये films मेरे लिए बहुत बड़ी चीज़ है मैं achieve कर दूँगा तो it wasn't like that. So a lot of people think इसने ऐसा किया, but nobody knows that I never thought about it. I was just going with my instinct. I was completely going with my instinct. And Amir, when I did Amir just happened because I was not looking at films. In fact, if you go back and read my interviews back in the day also, I was saying that no, I am just not doing television because nobody is going to give me work because I'm quitting after every show reaches its peak. And then Amir happened and I said, Amir, okay, क्या है film है, okay, film है, script मुझे भेज दो, मुझे बताया गया that not too many actors were very keen to do that film because it wasn't a very commercial kind of a film. And I loved the script and I said yes to it. It happened, and then next thing I was doing was Sach Ka Samna, because and most of them said कि तूने TV से तो film में कर लिए तूने, तो मैंने कहा but मेरे लिए था ही नहीं कभी. So anyway, I won't go in details, but the fact is, I never ever thought that I did anything because I wasn't looking at others. I was only looking at myself, and I was doing things that was making me comfortable. And I wanted to just do it for myself because I wanted to increase my bandwidth as an actor. So it has completely been about myself and not about anybody else. If it brought changes or if it gave confidence to others, great. But then again, the fact is, it was my call and I could stick by it because I had conviction in my belief system. So it is not that whatever I did may just work for others. I did because I completely believed in it, and that was my way of achieving things in my own head.
Fair enough. हिचकिचाहट क्यों थी? Because when I saw the role, I'm like, he's made for it. But I know you said you have a little bit of hichkichahat. Why did you have that?
I had that hichkichahat, that hesitation, because this was completely a new territory. This was a character which I was playing was out of nowhere. I mean, you hear scripts, you read scripts. Also, when I was being cast for this one, I said, me? Because I know that I can, I mean, in my head, I know that I can do it. This is my turf.
Sure.
I mean, not my turf, I would say, but I knew that I could do it when I read about it. But then most of the times I come across people who have this belief system, or they have this bias, or they have this thing that Rajeev is a very intense actor. You know, we can do only intense stuff with him. We can do certain kind of things with him. Maybe the way I look, or the way I carry myself, or the stuff that I've done in the past. But this one was so refreshing. I said, "Arey, koi soch raha hai main ye karunga." And imagine me. I mean, I said, "Oh, yeah, I am the right choice for this baby." But then you really want me to do this one? And for me, the hesitation was, will I be able to pull this off? Because this was right what the industry is today. And to play one of those superstars, or to play a superstar in today's setup was something challenging, because I have no such trait in me, or I do not, or maybe I do not even have friends who are like superstars. So I couldn't borrow anything from my personal experience. So I said, I do not know whether I'll be able to do it or not. And then I think some Archit and Mihir, they pushed me and they said, "Sir, आप करोगे तो कितना मजा आएगा?" मैंने कहा बात तो सही कर रहा है, अगर मैं कर पाया तो. And then I think with little bit support of everyone, including my co-actors, directors, the writers, I think we did it, and I was happy each day I left the set, and I could go and sleep, and I would look forward to going on the set the next day.
You said it's been borrowed from a lot of superstars. The character.
Borrowed, it's a
amalgamation.
Yeah,
It's actually only one. We're lying about it. we don't avoid controversy here.
Only one?
There's only one.
Who is the
can't take a
superstar?
that you have to decide when you watch it. Actually. Which one is that one?
Has Emraan been dropping tea from his experiences to you? Rajeev?
We are fearing that we'll have to bear the brunt of probably a court case.
A
lot of court cases.
So now that we are bearing the brunt, myself will take the name, na? Hai na? It'll help.
Us. Someone else is pulling the strings.
See,
right?
you
Someone else is pulling
will
the
have to
strings.
decide that. Which
Otherwise,
one
we
is
are honest and truthful people.
Sure. So you
can dig deep and try to get it out of us, but
sure, I will try. I'm 100%
it
trying.
might just slip out. It might just slip out in this interview. We might just take the name.
So thrilling. You see, there is thrill in the series and in this
See,
interview.
Rajeev actually wants to say it, but he's stopping himself.
I almost said it. Yeah.
He almost said it. He actually
Almost said it?
Barring one letter, he almost said it.
Said it.
I was asked, ki, Raji,
Just rewind. He just said it right now, actually.
He never said it.
My name is Arman. Alright, let's not go there because
rhymes.
I'll leave it. I'll
It rhymes?
Yes.
Okay. We will do a special story on this, dissecting every word that you said later. So why are you, I think you have so much courage, come and say it. You are the only person I believe will say
My
some
character is
facts.
based on whom? Are you saying Raghu?
Oh, lovely. Say it. RK energy.
Huh?
The RK energy. Raghu
energy,
Khanna.
yeah.
So you are saying that you want to reveal
who Raghu is based on?
Sure.
I don't know. You'll have to ask the writer Mihir. I have I had a good fortune of working with probably 50 or 60 odd producers through my career. And I think, on a subconscious level, you end up not really, never knew that I'm going to take up a role of this nature, but somewhere something trickles in, some conversation, something someone has said in some meeting, or my lovely interactions and some not so lovely interactions with producers over the course of 20, 21 years. So yeah, something always slips in a way.
Because you said that, I want to know, without, obviously he will not take names, so without taking name, a kind of obnoxious conversation, because Raghu Khanna has a lot of obnoxious conversations like Arman. They do it so
I've
well.
had one of the most obnoxious conversations. It turned into a spat with a producer on the phone. I remember I was in Dubai, the film was complete, and the producer called up. And this is the thing, that everyone's perception to a film is different.
Sure.
And that producer, at one end, there was a call where the producer said, "You have given the worst performance in your career." This is early on. And in the next 10 minutes, the director calls up and he says, "You have given the best performance of your career." So I didn't know which way to go or who to believe. But apparently there was this disparity or this whole point of view conflict of how they were seeing the film. Eventually, I always believe that it is the director's baby and that's that person's vision. And here comes also the conversation about sometimes you have too many cooks and it spoils the broth situation. Producers should be, if you are a creative producer, great. But if you don't have a creative bone and you try to assert your creative aspect into a film or a project, it just kind of jeopardizes that project. So have one captain of the ship. That's what I realized. It's the director.
Did you like the film?
I loved the film. I loved the film. I'm extremely critical with my own material.
Exactly.
I don't know about that whole thing about, you know which way a film is going at the box office and you know when the film is going to bomb, because no one really knows. Eventually, everyone sees a film from their point of view and perspective. So you don't know, it's got a lot of different things with the environment the film is released in or whatever. But I have had films where I've loved the material, I've loved the film when I saw it in the edit on the screen, and the film has not taken off the box office. You don't understand that, and that's shattering for any actor, because you feel, okay, this was such a personal experience for me. I put everything out there, but for some reason the audience hasn't taken a liking to it. So it's something that's you can't quantify. That's, I think, the mysterious, enigmatic part of our industry. You can't really quantify things.
But you've been through that experience even as a star, because you forever wanted to, the conversation about that she says that star and an actor, at the great and the ideal combination that you want. You've been at a position where, most of your films were absolute hits, and, of course, the serial kisser tag, and for years and years, and continued to an extent that you were like, I'm done with it. And you wanted to come out of it, even though people were like, you're doing like a career suicide, and you're doing all of that, right? But and it maybe the films that you didn't work after that, but you were satisfied as an actor. You've kind of maneuvered through that pretty smoothly even now.
I don't think in the beginning of your career you're privileged to kind of choose and pick scripts. I think the scripts choose you. And somewhere down the line there was this weird, interesting combination, and it became in public domain. This image came about, and I have, in a way, celebrated that. The audience has celebrated that image.
Of course.
And while it went on for almost 12, 14 years with that image, I have reaped the benefits. But the problem began when I was like, okay guys, I've given you this. I have much more to explore and give you. Let me play the actor and put that out. Then you had the actor playing characters, and then probably the films didn't clock in the numbers that came out with that image. So I'm like, when I wasn't probably enjoying it and I was playing up to what they want, it was working wonders. And then when I started doing and started giving them something of substance, they were like, no, we want to see that. And I still get people coming up to me and say that, ab Jannat jaisi film kyun nahi karte ho? Ya Awarapan jaisi film nahi karte ho? Ya Raj jaisi film kyun nahi karte ho? Times have changed, and but I think it's, I'm in a good space right now, because I'm getting to explore roles where you're playing kind of the star, and also you're playing the actor, and you're getting something to sink your teeth into. Because by 2014 I felt like I'm just sleepwalking through roles. I felt I'm not feeling satiated through the stuff that I'm doing, and it's just, films are doing well, but I want to do something more. But I guess, I think you just have to keep pushing on.
No, I think among the very few actors,
reinvented yourself is amazing.
It's a little bit of, I guess, it
really
just,
amazing.
I wouldn't want to take
among the
credit
very
for
few
it.
actors.
No, but I wouldn't want to take credit for it, because I think it was also producers who wanted to take that punt on me and do something different. Like it could be Ekta doing Once Upon a Time in Mumbai, which changed my perception at that time. Awarapan, Shanghai for that matter. Shanghai was something that Dibakar offered to me when he was like, okay, people see you as this, but I see the spark in you, and let's do a film like Shanghai. So now and then you had people come to me with stuff.
But you also have to take the credit for going after those roles and accepting them and
100%.
preparing yourself for it. Because it's there's a lot of fear, right? When you're used to doing something. There's that fear, but you have to take the credit for it.
No, for me it's always been this. You can't really think about what the audience wants to see. Always. Because then that's a sure way of failing. You do something that's kind of personal and you like on a story level. And not like, okay, now the trend in the formulaic way is action films are doing well, so let me do an action film. I've never thought that way. So,
But fantastic. I think among the very few actors who actually didn't chase stardom so much. Everybody does a little, but you honestly
And it's
didn't.
really hard, huh? It's very hard when everyone's loving you for doing whatever you're doing.
And then he's like, let's go for this.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Mahima, it was extremely interesting for me to see you in this role, because it took me back to the time when you were debuting with Amtin, and you very honestly, post the debut, told that you didn't get enough work. And you felt sidelined in a film that was supposed to be your debut and was changed the life for you. I think it took courage, because it was a big film, and people usually want female actors to kind of go through it quietly. I feel like it highlighted how you also wanted your voice to be heard. When I saw you in the trailer, I felt like good things happen to good people. And I felt like that energy has always been there in you, not to sort of give up, not to be sidelined, which you mentioned at the time. I think it's tell me if my analysis is correct, and I feel like not many come up and say that, listen, I didn't get what I deserve and I need it.
When you come from the outside, you have a certain expectation or a preconceived notion about, okay, this is how probably it'll work. But I think I was just looking at the shortcomings and how things didn't work in my favor. But I think it's all about how you look at things and how you change your approach, right? Yes, I will stick to what I said, not that I'm, you know, changing how I felt, because I genuinely felt that maybe, but I don't want to give some sort of I don't want the audience to feel entitled to love me.
Sure.
I'm going to work twice as hard. I'm going to, you can only react to what you've been offered, right? Sure. You can't react to what's in your head. So I think right after Anthem, yes, I expected something, but having said that, I'm still grateful, because while I was doing television for how many years that I did that, never did I imagine that, you know, one day there will be this breakthrough. So I think at this point, I'm really, really grateful. Not necessarily that I wanted to probably walk on a path, but I think there's something which is much bigger, and which is destiny. Like Sir said, you know, in his previous answer that. Sorry. Okay.
I haven't heard anyone called Sir in a while. It's kind of nice.
I love it.
I think we all should call him Sir.
I'll be hearing very often the promotion.
It's really hard, especially when you're doing like films in South. It's
Imran
really
just-
hard. I don't know how to address them, right? So I would like
Garu.
So you,
Garu,
What do you
yes.
say? So I normally end up just talking English, because English allows you to just say how are you. You don't have to say how are you, so you can get on with it.
Mera sir.
I understand. It's really hard. Mera sir. No, it's
So I
hard.
think
It's
I was-
hard. I get where she's coming from.
Yeah,
You
so
should
I
also know
think.
where I'm coming from. Anyways, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm all of 25 years old.
Oh,
25.
And the best kisser in the
He's
world
my
that you keep
age,
mentioning all the
24.
time. And the best kisser in the world which you keep mentioning all the time.
I only said it once.
That's enough.
Golden words are not repeated again.
Oh, people do believe it. Continue,
Yeah, I was
continue.
saying that, you know, there's something much bigger, which is destiny, which takes its own course, and, you know, it decides for you more than. So I think in my case, I just decided to put faith and leave it to acha chalo abhi I'm going to do what I can control, because there aren't many things that you can control. All you can do is maybe probably hone your craft, do the hard work, because I feel there is no shortcut to hard work, and maybe you can only focus on the things that are needed to. So yes, for sure. But right now, with the kind of space that I am in, I'm truly, truly grateful, because I didn't ever imagine a dramatic to give this opportunity to me. I'm really grateful to my directors, you know, Archit, Mihir, Karan sir, for seeing the potential, and because it's a part where you're literally like pitted against, you know, somebody so senior like, you know, Emraan sir, or all of them right now, Nasir sir, so many of them.
100%.
So I truly feel grateful. Yeah.
Absolutely. Shriya, I think you've, you know, you've seen it, and you've seen the changes, because you've acted in all different languages. You are playing a character who's married to an actor. In real life, you married an own actor, but I remember we had a short discussion about how things look different for you once you are married, right? Nothing changed for you. You wanted to go back, but the way certain people looked at you.
No, it changed a lot. I was dropped from a film immediately after I got married, and from a very dear friend. I know them really well, very big names. I was dropped, and it wasn't like that you're dropped, but it was like, oh, but you need like these random dates in this whole year, and you know where it's coming from. And then eventually it got harder and harder. But I feel things have changed a lot now. It's a very different industry. But even after when I got pregnant, I remember that insecurity was so strong. Thank God it was COVID. And thank God I was in Barcelona. And thank God I could be just like really fat and pregnant and walk around and didn't care how I was looking. Yeah, I didn't even announce I had a baby till like, she was like 8 months old. I came back to India. I figured that I'm doing this film, and then I told my director that, listen, you know, you want me in this film, but you must know that I have a baby. And then he said, what's her name? Radha. And then we had a narration, and he came for the narration. And in fact got like toys for Radha, like books for me, and books for a new mom. And I was like, whoa, I was living in a bubble. I didn't realize that things have changed. But from back in the day, it was just impossible to come back and film if you had a baby. Like, it was impossible. But things have changed a lot after Kajol or Kareena, Alia, the way they've dealt with it. But what I find really funny, and I don't understand, maybe you will be able to explain to me because you know better, why did this shift happen? Because there were actresses like Sharmila Tagore, and back in the day it was fine.
Yeah.
And then it was like this 80s and 90s where actresses are not allowed, and they were shown in a way that you only could be 18 and 19, and the love stories were only about someone you're gonna get married to. After that, you kill each other. But and now again things have changed back again. I don't know where that shift, why that happened, but yeah, things have changed and they're changing.
You also saw that you've been through, okay, we are going to be glam dolls and all of that, and then you fought to be a legit part of the script. Today, of course, it's a different conversation, but you know, you've been there, right? You've seen it happen. You've seen where your parts are reduced to 5 songs and few dialogues in between, and then of course being seamlessly
5 songs, yeah. Sometimes 3.
Sometimes 3, maybe, you know, if
Yeah.
you're not having a good
Because
day.
if the hero has a song, then maybe 3.
There you go. Yeah. But, you know, I want to know about that, and of course today, which is, thankfully, a great time.
Well, I feel what has changed now is, like I said, there are more women behind the camera than in front. So you can't have a female-oriented film where the producer, the director, the cameraman, everybody is... I remember walking on a set, like back in the day, there was just one another woman, and that was your hairdresser. No, there were there were men dressing you up. They will come and take your measurement. There was nobody else. It was just me and another woman. So God forbid you have periods and you're shooting in the rain. There's no way you could even communicate. It was horrible.
That's so scary.
It was scary. But I mean, again, I always work with lovely people. I've always felt safe. But that's not the point here. What I'm trying to say is now there are more women who are producers, who are directors. There are camera women I've worked with. So that is changing, because you don't walk in an aircraft saying it's a female-oriented aircraft. You know, we're walking in a operation theater, it's a female or a male. It's a film, right? It has to, characters are important. Of course, well-written actresses, roles for actresses change a lot. But what I think why things have changed now is because there are more women behind the camera.
Yeah.
And that's changing the narrative. And at least it's a beginning. There's a long way to go. Women still don't get paid as much as men do.
Here. Okay, the last segment. I have 4 absolutely talented, honest people. I'm focusing on the word honest. Okay. Except for Mahima, whom I'm meeting for the first time. Listen.
You mean she's dishonest?
I'm not saying that. I said I have known the 3 of you to talk.
Everyone is honest except her.
Okay. I am not honest?
No, not you.
Except me.
No,
That's what
you're also honest. You're also honest. Okay. So it's called true and false. Very simple. Just the twist is that you have to tell me if the statement rings true for you, because you've seen it, been through it, and give like a few words along with it as an explanation, and the anecdote in a one-liner, not too much. Okay?
Okay.
Ready? Emraan is laughing already.
Keep it short.
Yeah, because we will have
I'm
to wrap
ready to be
it.
a good listener here.
Okay. No, listen.
Chuck something.
I'm ready to be a good listener here.
It's a bit too long.
Okay, come. Female producers are not taken seriously in the film industry.
False.
False.
False, yeah, now it's false. But for the
Everyone
longest
takes
time.
Ekta Kapoor very seriously.
Yeah, I was thinking
that's
about.
Okay. Not enough female
I would
producers
say a
for
bit
this.
too
So you say false?
seriously, more than the
You think so?
male
Yeah,
producers.
this I don't believe.
No, some of them are
I
really,
like how Mahima's like,
some of them are really fiery. You gotta take
guessing.
them seriously,
that's
man.
true.
Yeah.
I feel like they have to work really
I
hard.
probably wouldn't
It's
get
still a man's world,
intimidated with a male producer, but female producers, they're very, they know their stuff. Very smart, and they know their stuff, yeah.
Okay. Male actors have replaced their female co-stars for petty reasons.
Yeah, of course.
True.
Of course. I've been
I've never done that, just for the record, I've never done that.
I want to hear.
I have heard of some people who have done that.
I've been replaced, yeah.
For petty reasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like for example, what have you been told while being replaced?
I mean, shitty reasons. But yeah, there was a film, in fact, I was wearing my own clothes for the first 2-3 days.
Correct.
So then they replaced me, they threw me out, and I'm like, "Chal, mere kapde to bhijwa do."
Mere kapde. That's true. You heard it? Were the reasons are petty too in that case?
They're generally petty, and I think they come from a lot of insecurity also.
Yeah.
There will be professional reasons where you might have a point of view on someone's acting credentials, but
Yeah.
I mean that doesn't give you the right. Ultimately, it should be the director's call.
But I've never
the
taken
writer's
it
call.
seriously. I end up like
So,
laughing about it.
I don't think so many in today's time right now. Maybe a few years ago I heard more of those stories back in the day.
So have I.
Yeah.
Okay. Have been replaced midway through the project due to fragile ego wars.
Midway,
Are you
no
talking about
beginning.
I've been replaced or
Yeah, it has to be.
have you heard of
If you've
someone?
seen it also or heard it, it makes
Midway,
sense.
yes, of
Yeah,
course.
plenty of them.
It happened in one of my films. Midway because of not ego tussle with me, but with the director.
Yeah, no,
Creative
I was
differences.
Yeah.
I
Creative
was asked,
differences.
do you love me? And I said, no, of course not.
And you
Like,
were
then, yeah. Then I had like nothing to do for like 2
Someone
months.
asked you, do you love me?
Yeah, and then I had nothing
Sounds
to do.
very
Listen to me
Rajeev Khandelwal.
first, for you're contradicting yourself. 2 interviews ago, you said no one hits on you.
But
And
this
right
was
now
a
you're
horrible-
saying that
Maybe this is
now
what
you're
you're saying.
saying
The most
you're
horrible
actually getting
thing.
love here.
Maybe she doesn't take this as hitting on.
I'm like,
She's
bro,
creeped
I'm
out
like,
by
no,
it.
of course I don't love
She is
you.
so
This is
schizophrenic.
not happening. So then I had nothing to do and I went and did a
I'm on
Malayalam
her
film.
side.
So
I
that
agree.
nothing-
Maybe she didn't think it as hitting on because it was creepy.
It was
It's
creepy.
weird.
There you
He's
go.
not even like, do
There
you
you
love
go.
me? And I'm like, no, I don't. And suddenly I had nothing to do for 2 months and I had to do a Malayalam film.
Super creepy.
They were sweet
Okay.
enough to take me in. But it happens. It's really weird. Suddenly I have nothing to do for like 2-3 months because you've been thrown out.
This happened to you?
in front of me, yes. Replace, you're saying, yeah, plenty
Midway.
of time. Yeah.
Okay. Stars are treated better on sets than the rest of the actors.
Of course.
True.
Of course.
Yeah, all of you have been through that at some point.
Of
of your
Sadly,
course.
but true.
Any.
So when
one-
I was starting on Poonam Dhillon, I was working with and she played my mother-in-law. And she was really sweet. She would make sure that I come and sit in her van and she would share her food with me and order food for me. And I'm still friends with her because of that. And I really respect her for that. But she taught me actually that lesson. So there are a lot of times I'm working and I know that, there are children on the set and I tell them, please come sit in my van.
Yeah.
Like, please be around me because I don't want you to be sitting around. Like that. So that's something that I learned from her. She didn't care.
How sweet.
She didn't care who I was. I was like nobody then, and she treats everyone the same. So I learned that from her.
Which hasn't happened to you. What was your end? What is your experience on this?
Of stars getting, I guess it's a hierarchy on film sets, and that's a diktat that's been going on for years and eons in our industry. And I guess like how the dialogue in the show is that ek hi khuda hai, star hai. To a certain point, I think that perception is changing because right now you also have films where are driven by the concept director, and OTT in that sense is very empowering in that space also. There are some films also that are empowering for people who are new. But still, if it's a star-driven film and he or she is getting the most amount of money into a film, then you're going to have that being the fulcrum on a film set.
Can I add to this?
Sure.
One of the instances were my male co-actor and I, we were discussing a scene and we were obviously adding our inputs, and I said the same thing that he did like 2 minutes ago, but I was made to feel unheard. And he literally said the same thing, and so I feel when it comes down to not compromising but making you feel unheard, especially on a creative aspect,
Sure.
it's a bit disappointing. No, I mean this doesn't probably happen necessarily on every set, but they just make you feel, like I said, we were literally saying the same thing, but I was looked through.
You can
Yeah.
feel unheard.
I
It
think
can
it also
happen.
depends on the director and the producer
That's
that
what
are
I'm saying.
helping
If
the film.
a smart,
If they are, they know
sensible,
their
I think.
craft
sensible
and they
person
are
will
have a
make you
certain
feel like
conviction,
that,
their
because
own
end of
work,
the day,
then that
everybody's
wouldn't really
performance
matter.
come together.
And
and
they
make
may
a
not
film.
be
It's not like one
like-
person.
And it is a
Raghu Khanna.
collaboration
Every
at the end
example
of the day.
of a mean person now is going to be Raghu Khanna. But on that note, thank you so much.
Thank
Okay,
And
great, thanks.
by the end of it, you know that I absolutely have deep respect for what you've been able to do through your craft and through your voice.
Do you
And
love the show?
Excuse me.
Do you love the show? Do you like it? Did you
I have
love the
watched
show?
4
Let me say
episodes
some
of it.
nice things about the show before you go.
I think the show was a lot of fun. I truly wanted to watch the 5th episode. Cross
you.
my heart and strike it twice. But thank you so much. Lots of love. to all
Thank
of
you.
Thanks.
Thank you.